Microsoft Excel 2003, Basic Collaboration and File Management. Whenever we use a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, we're not in our own little world. We can also share it so that other people can help us with our projects. In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can do some basic collaboration with commenting on material that's within the Excel spreadsheet. We also will see a basic idea of how we can track any changes that occur. Later on in the video series, we'll actually do a whole video on how we can do collaboration with tracking and highlighting changes and making sure we either accept or reject those changes. We'll look at the different file types, and there are many. We're just going to cover a few that we can save our Excel spreadsheets into. And then finally, we're going to get a nice look at how we can take an Excel spreadsheet and open it up to the World Wide Web so that people can actually view the content that we've created in Excel. Picture, if you will, you are the project manager of a huge company, and you've got many different people working with you, and you are putting together maybe a 5-year financial plan for something, and you're going to be handing this Excel workbook or spreadsheets to many different people, and they're going to look at what's going on, maybe make some changes, do some things to it, and then hand it back to you. Collaboration, working in perfect harmony. Now, this is good stuff. Now, let me go ahead and open up one of our Excel spreadsheets. I downloaded this template off of Office Online. It is a 5-year financial plan for manufacturing, and I've customized it for our Acme Incorporated. And I handed it off to my coworkers who are now putting input and putting information in, and we're going to do collaboration. Well, one of the ways that we can help keep track of what's going on or get information back from many different people is by using comments. It's part of collaboration. The other is tracking any changes that take place on a particular spreadsheet. Let's start off with the comments first. For example, if I've got a 5-year financial plan and I'm putting all this information in, it makes sense that I maybe hand this off to a whole bunch of people to say, look, does this look good? Does this look okay? And then they can add some comments to it. For example, I might be one of the accountants, and I look at this and I say, you know what, we're missing information here on the annual cumulative price or revenue increase for year 1. So what I can do is I can select this particular cell, and I say, well, look, there's nothing there. I can right-click on it, and I can insert a comment. And when I insert a comment, it's going to say, hey, okay, here's Chris Ward. I'm going to make a comment here, and it's going to give me a box to edit. And I'm going to type in, we seem to be missing some information here. So now I've added a comment to the spreadsheet. Now, it doesn't change the content of the cell. It just adds a comment. So if I deselect or select off away, you'll see that a little flag shows up. Remember this flag? If you saw the video where we talked about error checking when we're inputting certain data, you'll remember this flag just means that there is a comment or there's an error or there's something going on here. In this case, if I roll over it, it doesn't give me the little error icon over here. Instead, it says, here's your comment. Chris Ward, hey, that's me, says we seem to be missing some information here. Now, the good thing is that I can leave it to where I have to roll over it with my mouse, or if I want, and I want to leave this open, I can select the cell, right-click, and see where it says Show Hide Comments. If I do that, now it's permanently there. I can select over here on another cell, and look, Chris Ward's comment for there is going to stay up. Now, obviously, that's important when I hand it back, that way the guy doesn't have to scroll through and look through all the different little flags. I might have some errors, some flags. This is a way that when I hand it back to somebody, they'll find all of the comments that I've highlighted. Now, to hide that, I can, again, select the cell, right-click, and now I hide the comment. And so now it only shows up when I mouse over it, and I take my mouse and go over that. But let's say I was like, oh, wait, I want to edit that. How do I do that? Select it, right-click it, and edit the comment. And now I can come in here and edit whatever comment that I need to do. Select off, or if I want to delete that comment, I don't want that comment there anymore, I can delete the comment. Again, right-clicking on that particular cell, and now, sure enough, there are no more comments by me on this particular page. Now with here, I might say, well, this is where I wanted to do it. So let's see this again in action. I right-click. I click Insert Comment. I can make the change. This is where we need information here. And so select off, and now here's my Chris Ward. Now, let's say that I'm the third or fourth person that has come through and added comments. Now down here, if you look, under other revenue source, I've got some comments. See, Dan has a note here, one of the accountants says, don't forget that we have some contract work coming in this year. So Dan, one of my project managers, has made some comments here. And if I look over here, oh, look, here's another comment. He says accounting, and let's scroll over that we can see this. It says accounting says we should have $1,000 here as well. Well, maybe I want to move and adjust where these appear. Right now, they appear off to the side, right? Well, what I can do is if I select this and I do a show hide comments, I can move where this comment is going to show up. See, I can move it up here. Maybe I want it off the screen so I can see. And notice the arrow points down to where this particular comment is referring to. It says, oh, this comment is referring down here that Dan has. So if I have, you know, it looks kind of bad if I have this kind of covering some material and that material behind what Dan is saying actually refers to this. I mean, year 3. Well, what am I talking about here? Where's the 300,000 come from? Well, it's being blocked. Well, again, you can maneuver and adjust where these comments appear, no problem. So let's go ahead and select that and hide that comment again. And now, if I wanted to, now of course it goes back to its default unless I've changed that. So again, comments are really cool because they can add information. Now, if I want to delete that comment, remember, now maybe I'm hiding or handing off this particular spreadsheet to somebody, maybe the final customer or senior management. Well, does senior management need to see Dan's comments? No. So again, I can come in here and instead I can delete the comments. By the way, if you print this out, if you looked at our video where we talked about printing and page setup, one of the little bullet points that I showed you on your print setup or on your screen or sheet, it said, do you want to include the comments? And you can say, no, do not print the comments on the page. Or you can print them. It's up to you. Again, flexibility is the key here. Another aspect of collaboration is the ability to track changes as they occur. Now in this video, we're not going to dive into it. This is more of an advanced topic that we'll get to later on into the series, but I do want to show you where this is at, because a lot of people ask about this right about this point. If you come up to Tools, you'll notice that one of the things that we can do is we can share our workbook or our workspace, but here's Track Changes. When we track changes, and I'll select this and show you what I'm talking about, highlight changes, it allows me to say, look, when I hand this file off to somebody else and share it, maybe out on a network segment that people can access. In fact, they can even start working on it at the same time I'm working on it if I have it in a shared location. If I select this, it's going to highlight anytime I make any changes. When there's any type of change, who changes it, I can even select where on certain aspects of it, and then highlight the changes on the screen. And what this is going to do is, when someone makes a change, it's not going to delete the old content. It's going to hide it. And then when you get back to it, it's going to say, hey, do you want to accept this change or reject this change that was made by somebody? That's whether you save the file and send it off to somebody or whether you're working on it at the same time. Group collaboration. There can be 10 people maybe if you want, depending on how many people you allow access to it at one time, making changes, and then before they can save it, they have to notify, and you can even find out when it's going on. That's part of collaboration. But again, that's more advanced, and we'll see that in a different video. I did want to show it to you here, though, so you understand that that is part of collaboration. So I'll turn this off. Click cancel. But let's say, though, you want to share this information or collaborate with somebody maybe who doesn't have Excel, and you just want to get some input. One of the great ways to do this, and something you're actually tested on when you do take that Office user exam, is how to save this in web format or in a different format. So how do you handle your files? Let's go up to the File menu here under the Save As. Now, up until now, we've been pretty much saving things as an Excel workbook, right? We can see that right here. I mean, these are all my workbooks. But if you notice, I can save it as different types in different locations. I can even create new folders if I wanted to. I can say up here, create new folder. I want to create a new folder for my Acme Incorporated. So all my Acme files are going to be in now Acme Inc. And so I click OK, and it brings me to that folder. Now if I drop my screen down here, you can see that it's under My Documents under Acme Inc. That's where I'm located right now. So let's say I wanted to save this as a web page. I want to save the profit and loss sheet here, or the workbook here, as a web page so that people can view it and look at all the information that I have. Well, the way I do that is come under Save As Type, and I'm going to have a lot of selections here. I can save it as XML. I can save it as a single file page. Now, XML is a new format that allows you to do, talk about group collaboration and interactive spreadsheet styling. We'll talk about this in a separate video about how XML capabilities in Excel really highlight this. But for now, let's say I want to save it as a single file web page that I can upload to somebody's website, and they can click on it and they can have access to it and people can view it. I say, all right, let's do a single file web page. When I do this, I can then change the title right here where it says page title is profit and loss. I can change the file name. I can do the entire workbook. I can republish this as one sheet. I can add interactivity if I want to, and then publish it out directly from here, or I can just save it as a file that someone can access. And since I'm not going to push this out to a website, I'll go ahead and do that. I want to do the entire workbook though, so everyone can have it. And I'll add some interactivity. We'll save the title as profit and loss, and I'm going to save this file here in Acme Inc. So when I do that, it goes in and it saves it. Well, not much has changed here, right? But let me go ahead and open up a web browser. Let me click on down here, Internet Explorer, and I got my default here. Now what I'm going to do is come up to File and click Open. Now it says, hey, where is the internet address of the document or folder? And the Internet Explorer will open it up for you. Now I can also browse right here. And notice I've gone to My Documents, and I want to go to maybe my Acme Inc. and open up a web file. Or I can come back here to where I originally saved it under 5-year financial plan manufacturing. It's saved as an HTML file. I'm ready to go. I click Open. Watch what happens. It says this is where you're going to go to file that. I click OK. Now watch. It's first going to say something important, and this is more of a security. Because I have active content, in other words, this goes out and does certain things, like there's the comments and things, it's blocking it so no one comes in and hacks your computer. Well, in this case, I know this file is local to my hard drive, and so this isn't somebody from outside that might be trying to launch an attack on me. So I click on here and I say allow block content. It says, all right, just to let you know, ActiveX controls and stuff could really harm you. It's okay. Yes, we'll allow it to happen. Look at this. All of the things that even if I didn't have Microsoft Excel and I upload this to a web page and someone links on this, it's going to say, look, here's my comments. Look, there's my Dan C comment. Here's my Chris Ward comment. I can click over here to the balance sheet and see the information. Click on all the different, this looks like Excel. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to make any changes to this because this is simply a web page or a single web page that's out there. But from collaboration standpoint, this is huge because now I can go on out and I can view this information and I can then email back and say, hey, Dan, you're right. We can use this or do that or to give that information back that I need to. So again, just another option that I can have in managing my files that help me to do collaboration, which is important. So not only do we have the collaboration, but we also have the ability to save it as different types of files. And again, I didn't show too much, but let me click on File, Save As, and if I wanted to, I could save it as the web pages or templates, or I can, if I have someone that only has Excel 97, I can now save it so that no matter what, that anyone from Excel 97, old back in 97, believe it or not, all the way up to Excel 2003, also 5.0 which is another format used by some of the other programs like Macintosh 95 workbook. I can do an Excel 4.0 worksheet, an Excel 3.0. I can save it as any type and enable someone to see the information. Now, will I have all the complete capabilities that Excel 2003 gives me? No. Some of the content won't work. But if I am looking to collaborate with somebody that just doesn't have something, I have these options by managing my files and saving them in a different context, which is great. That's a big help to me. So with our basic look at collaboration, we saw some really cool features, including how we can add little comments, little sticky notes onto our Excel spreadsheets saying, hey, don't forget this or do this. We also saw how we turn on our track changes. Don't forget, later on in the video series, we'll actually go through and do some tracking of changes and how to accept or reject them. We looked at the different file types we can save, whether it's a older version of Excel or maybe just a plain text version of the information that we have. And then finally, we took a look at how we can take Excel information and put it up onto a web page so that people are able to view it and comment upon it by sending back an email. So collaboration taken globally. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.